Here is your October Tackle Club saltwater inshore box. Let's start off with this one here, the EGlicious Squid Jig. I love fresh calamari, so having something like this in my tackle box is always a go-to when you've got big squid getting around. If you don't eat squid though, don't fret, it's some of the best bait that you can get. So as you're heading out in your boat, if you see any squid, make sure you stop and try catch some. I normally try to have at least one lighter rod set up with a squid jig ready to go to catch squid I might see around the area to either A, eat, or B, use as a fantastic bait. Good option to have in the box. Next up is the Jiggly Nose. This is like a fairly heavy pencil or stick bait. So it is, I think it's made out of lead, but it is quite weighty. I've often used these for chasing things like tuna, mackerel, stuff like that, where you do see busting up fish. A lure with this sort of weight, you can cast an absolute mile. So it's good to be able to park back away from these busting up tuna so you don't easily spook them, but you can get a long cast in and burn this back and get a good, obviously cover a good amount of water with something like this. Now, if you're not chasing tuna, it's also great to use over the flats or also the shallow reef as well. Just make sure you do keep a fairly fast retrieve so you don't sink down and snag yourself up. But that's the DJ Minnow from Tamiki. If you find yourself in some slightly deeper water or maybe over some structure, great way to fish here is with the Vector Micro Jigs. This is a little 25 gram micro jig here that I've got, but this is essentially a slow pitch jig. So you can drop it down and just jig it up and down quite slowly. You can speed jig with this as well, but I tend to use these on more of a slow retrieve, which is going to be great for your snapper and any of your reef species that you can find out there as well. We're about halfway through. We've got plenty in this box this month. Next up is the Berkeley Shimmer Shad. So obviously you've got the Berkeley Shimmer fork and the Berkeley Shimmer Shad. While the fork has the fork tail, the shad has a paddle tail on the back. So it still fishes the same as a vibe does, so you tie your line to the top and you get a lot of vibration out of it, but you get the added vibration from the paddle tail that is located on the back of it, allowing you to get a little bit more movement out of the tail when you swim this through the water. Now you can fish these vertically straight up and down or on the cast as well. Just when you're casting these, be sure to be very careful that you don't snag these up because they do have two strong trebles underneath that can tend to get hooked on the reef and stuff as well. So I do like to fish these vertically or maybe somewhere if I'm casting that's a little bit more open, or don't let it sink all the way to the bottom to get snagged up. And then, not last but not least, it's kind of all grouped together. Two soft plastic options. So one from Gulp here. So I've got the Gulp King Shrimp in the swamp gas color. So obviously these come pre-scented. They're sitting in their delicious smelly oils already. Then you've also got your Tamiki Armor Shad here too, which is more like a flick bait style or a fork tail plastic. So one mimicking shrimp, one with a faster approach to the shrimp. I'm going to fish a bit slower. The fork tail ones I'm going to fish a little bit quicker and get a little bit whippy with it. And both of them you can work either on the cast or on the jig. That's not going to be an issue. Now to go with all of these, we've got a tube of Gulp gel rub-on scent. So you can add these to your Tamiki plastics, your hard bodies, your vibe, your stick bait, your squid jig. You can just rub this gel, this scent on any of them, just to give yourself a little bit more into the favor of the fish if you're having a hard day out fishing. And that's it for the October saltwater inshore box. If you want to check it out or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.